Assalamu alaikum students. So today we will learn about the gross anatomy of axillary artery. So axillary artery begins at the outer border of the lateral border of the first rib as the continuation of the subclavian artery. So this is the outer border or lateral border of the first rib and this is the subclavian artery. It begins as the continuation of the subclavian artery and ends at the inferior border of the teres major. So this is the inferior border of the teres major. It passes posterior to the pectoralis minor and enter into the arm, and it becomes the brachial artery when it passes inferior to the inferior border of the teres major, at which point it usually has reached the humerus. Now, for descriptive purpose, the artery is divided into three parts. One part is the artery is divided into three parts by the presence of this pectoralis minor muscle. So the first part, it lies between the outer border of the first rib and the medial border of the pectoralis minor. This is the first part. While second part, it lies behind the pectoralis minor. While third part, it lies between the lateral border of the pectoralis minor and the inferior border of the pectoralis major. So these are the three parts of the brachial artery, axillary artery. So the first part of the axillary artery, it extends from the lateral border of the first rib to the medial border of the pectoralis minor. So lateral border of the first rib to the medial border of the pectoralis minor muscle, and anteriorly it is related to the pectoralis major muscle, this part, and laterally it is related to the cords of brachial plexus. Now this branch, this part of the axillary artery gives only one branch, that is the superior thoracic artery, which gives the intercostal branches to the first and second intercostal space and to the upper, and supplies blood to the upper part of serratus anterior muscle. So the second part of axillary artery, as I have told you, it lies beneath the pectoralis minor muscle. It lies behind the pectoralis minor muscle and it is related medially, laterally and posteriorly to the corresponding cords of the brachial plexus. You can see the cords of the brachial plexus which are lying laterally, medially and posteriorly. Two branches arises from this part, that is the thoracoacromial artery and the lateral thoracic artery. I will show you in the upcoming slides. And the cords of brachial plexus are named lateral, medial and posterior according to their relation to the second part of the axillary artery. That's why they are called lateral, medial and posterior cord. Now this is the viva question often asked by the examiner, that why these cords of brachial plexus are called lateral, medial and posterior, because of their relationship with the axillary artery. Now third part of axillary artery, it extends from the this lateral border of the pectoralis minor to the upper border of the teres major muscle, and it is related medially, laterally and posteriorly to the branches of the cords of the brachial plexus. Now we have the branches of the brachial plexus around you can see here this part of the artery. Now this part of artery has got three branches, as it is the third part, so it has got three branches: subscapular, anterior circumflex and posterior circumflex. So here again relations of the axillary artery. You can see here that axillary vein lies medially in all the three parts. But in this first part, the cords of brachial plexus, they lie lateral to the artery. While in second part, the cords of brachial plexus, they lie medial, lateral and posterior to the brachial artery, this axillary artery. And in the third part, you can see the branches of the cords, they lie medial, lateral and posterior to the this axillary artery, while the veins lies medially. So the branches from the axillary artery, very easy. The first part, it gives only one branch, that is superior thoracic artery. The second part, it gives two branches, that is the thoracoacromial artery and the lateral thoracic artery. And the third part, it gives three branches, that is the subscapular artery, anterior circumflex humeral artery, and the posterior circumflex humeral artery. This subscapular artery is the largest branch. So I also want to show you the cadaveric appearance of the radial artery.
This is very important
and
slide.
Its orientation. So you can see this is the pectoralis minor muscle.
Damage to the artery or vein or to the brachial plexus and its branches.
Here you can see the first part of the
so you can easily attempt the
artery. This is the second part, and this one is the third part. So you can see the difference. The cords are behind the first part, while in the second part, that is below. This is this part is behind this pectoralis minor muscle, which is
there will be a delayed or absent capillary refill.
The cords of brachial
Now
plexus
the
are
venous
lined
damage will
medial,
in venous damage, that is the damage to the
lateral,
axillary
and
vein, the
posterior
patient
to
will
the
complain of
brachial
feeling
plexus.
of
Now
arm
here you can
heaviness
see
or
the
tiredness,
branches, they are lying
dull
in
aching
the
pain,
in
paresthesia
relation with
means
this
less
axillary artery, the
feeling,
third part of
less
the axillary
sensations,
artery.
and easy
So this is
fatigability
the
during
cadaveric
activities
appearance
involving the
in the
extremity.
axilla.
Now on
You will
physical examination, the
observe
clinician may note swelling in the
structures like
entire
this, and
upper
this is the
extremity
axillary
with
vein
molted cool skin and dilated prominent superficial veins.
lying
So
medially.
this will be the picture of the damage to the axillary vein. And of course, damage to the brachial plexus and its branches will result in the paralysis of the muscles and sensory denervation in that area, supplied by the cord or the branch, depending upon the damage what damage had occurred. So it is very important to differentiate the damage by the clinical sign and symptoms. So in case of arterial damage, in case of axillary artery damage, a patient will come with coldness, pallor, and pulseless extremities. So there will be no brachial artery pulse, there will be no radial artery pulse, or there will be no pulsation of the ulnar artery, and the extremities will be cold and pallor, and there will be absent capillary refill, that if you press the tips of the hand and make and blench it, then release the finger, then the capillary refilling is very slow or absent. So this is a picture showing a patient with multiple stab wounds. You can see in the body, on the chest, on the abdomen, on the face, and this is in the region of axilla. So here the axillary artery can be damaged, the axillary vein can be damaged, or the cords and the branches of the brachial plexus can be damaged.